Hey everyone, it's that time. It is I. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we are taking a look at an independent thriller called For Hannah, brought to us by John Wesley Norton, who wrote the screenplay based off of a Shannon Brown story. And we get the story of Chance, who is a thief on the run. He managed to pull off a bit of a bank heist, but things went kind of wrong, and they just spiral from there. As he's on the run from the cops, he takes refuge in a home where a couple is living, and a very unusual couple who have a very tense relationship. And we see how he kind of gets in the middle of that and has to deal with this situation, the dominating husband, the wife who seems like she's not exactly comfortable with the situation she's in, as well as the small town cops who keep showing up at the door of the house. And all of this comes to a head in an interesting and some surprising ways in For Hannah. I loved how this story played out, namely because we've seen this kind of story before. The thief guy comes upon a house, the couple, the people in the house aren't exactly, regular folk. It's not a happy home situation. So we've seen that before, but there's enough twists and turns in this with the characters that we discover as it plays out that I thought were interesting, and some choices as well. Now, Shannon Brown plays Chance, the thief, and I thought he does very well in here as this guy who has good intentions but just did a wrong thing. Or we think he's got good intentions. Hard to say what the story that he gives for sure is, but the couple that he has, that's where really the dynamic and the interesting things happen in this film. Frank, who is the dominating husband, played by Rick Morgan, he eats up a lot of the scenery with this guy. This is a guy you're not supposed to like at all from the get-go. He never seems like a really nice guy at all, and you're not really supposed to get behind him. Who you are really supposed to get behind is Emma, played fantastically by Carla Bruzzo. She puts in a little bit more subtle performance than Rick does for the Frank character, but that's because that's the way her character is supposed to be. I loved how they wrote her character and how she performs this character. She's got this where she's being the very good wife, but you can see just bubbling underneath. There's a little bit of darkness there, a little bit of frustration, and a little bit of strength that she has been holding back. And we see how that kind of bubbles to the surface as things play out. Now, Sheriff Cooper is played by Bruce Spielbauer, and I love this character. This guy was great. I'd love to see him in a Western. He's played so well as this small town cop who's ready to retire, and he's got this weird case with this robbery, and also had a something unusual happen during it, looking for a guy on the run. Yeah, I just loved this character quite a bit. He put a smile on my face every time he was on screen. And Deputy Gale, played by Suzette Brown, is fantastic as well. They've got some great dynamic. The sheriff and the deputy play off of each other, whereas Deputy Gale really is striving to try to make this case and just frustrated at the apparent lackadaisical handling of this case by the sheriff, which, as things play out, is it that he's just being lazy, or is there something else going on as well? There's a couple of other surprise characters that show up, and the story, I will say, did not quite play out the way I expected it. I predicted most of it, but not all of it. While it's shot on a small budget, it's still got a high production value. Some great camera work going on in here, both when they're in the woods and in the house. And some great editing as well, and nuanced performances really make For Hannah, I thought, a compelling story, an interesting one, and one that I think you should check out. So I'll put as much information as I can down below. I dug this film far more than I kind of expected to, because I was like, oh, we've seen this before. But yeah, enough interesting things and great performances that I think if you like independent crime thrillers, you're going to enjoy this one. So thank you so much for watching. If you have seen For Hannah, please leave your comments down below. Love to hear your constructive thoughts. Check out our Patreon and all our other things, bells, whistles, thumbs up, and all that here. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for your support. Until next time, as always, keep that ticket stub.